Unfortunately, Dr. Mega, it stated that I can't, the host disable participant to share, to screen sharing.
Yes, because you are co-host right now.
Okay, okay, as usual, okay, all right. Sorry. Okay.
And
Okay.
all of students come now.
Okay, all right. So as you can see, there is the slide, right? Everyone can see, Dr. Mega. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I will start, yeah. Okay, so Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. It's good morning still morning in Indonesia.
Yes, good morning.
At 12 p.m. in Malaysia. Okay. So, okay, this is a continuous from the previous chapter, which is topic 5, right? In the theme of political and governmental morality. Okay. So, I just want to share the information, what has been done, what happenings in public service in Malaysia in terms of the morality and attitude. Okay, so first, let me start with a simple introduction. What is the meaning by the words morality? Okay, everybody know the Socrates, right? Socrates, okay. Morality is actually the art of self-possession or self-control, and also in the governmental, we consider as a self-government. Okay, it's like a principle concerning to guide us between right and wrong, between good behavior and also bad behavior. That is a morality in general, the concept. Okay. So we in this slide, okay, what I'm going to share today are concerns about democratic nation, which is Malaysians. Okay, just a simple sharing on what is happening about public service in Malaysia. Okay, and that we so called as a democratic nation. Okay. So how does morality is actually guide the public servants or to become or to add good behavior or good moral? Okay, and at the same time, moral is actually some that we believe, and our belief, our principle is becomes a norms ataupun norma, and it's also become a culture or budaya. Okay, it's that's what we believe and what is good and wrong, and goods and wrong, our moral is actually different because every human being is a difference. But in terms of the public services, the government's political, okay, the moral is actually stated and has been written, meaning we have the code of conduct. Okay, code tingkah laku, what is the punishment, what is the reward, is a stated, is we have the blueprint. That is the situation in Malaysia. Okay, so now we consider as okay, when we talk about the government, how we are going to relate that morality and government in terms of the democratic nation. Okay, so the first thing I will talk about the people and government. We as a people, okay, without people, how come the nation can be built? Okay, how, and then how the establishment of the governments without the people. Okay, so assuming that we already know what is the people stand for, okay, meaning it's like the citizenship of the countries. Okay, and the governments need the citizenship to ensure their establishment of the government. Okay, so what is the meaning by the words government? Okay. Government actually is, they have the authority. Okay, the governor literally holds sovereign sway, whatever be the origins or the foundation assigned to this sovereignty. Okay, and they have the boundaries. Okay, and the authority here refer to what extent they will exercise their duty, exercise their authority within their sovereignty or within the country borders. Okay, and the government is also referred to the authority that represent the right and responsible for his actions to those he governs, which is he governs the people, he governs the administration system in the country. Okay, and also government has its principle in a contract. Okay, either obvious or silent, meaning government has a contract in terms of the law and regulation. They need to be obeyed with the law and regulation. Okay. So, and between governor and government. Okay, this contract is expressed by constitution ataupun perlembagaan. Okay, in Malaysian we have same goes with the same goes to Indonesian, which is we have the written constitution. Okay, perlembagaan. And then it is actually have a several regulation in terms of the to what extent that government can implement their duty, or to what extent the government are responsible to the people. Okay, meaning those in Malaysian, they have to obey with the Malaysian constitution. And that constitution is actually formulates the general condition under which government must take place and equally binding on both sides. Both sides here meaning it is a mutual agreement between governments and the people. Meaning government should react based on the Malaysian constitution, and the people in Malaysia need to obey with the Malaysian constitution. Even though the Malaysian people live abroad, they have to obey with the Malaysian constitution. And if has any immorality done, they need to be related with the country they live and the country and the Malaysian constitution. Okay. And the third meaning of the government is independent. Okay, while representing the nation, should recognize and respect certain of the latest right, meaning individual rights, government's right, religion's right. Okay, how to be naturally inherent in human society and individuals, and consequently untransferable and superior to all institutions. Okay, yeah, government is the highest institutions that in Malaysia we have the federal government, so they are the highest institutions in the government level in Malaysian situation, and the lowest is a municipal council, local government. Okay, all right, so that is the concept of a government. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about how that morality is actually affects the political or the government. Okay? Sometimes political morality also known as a political ethics. Okay, meaning is the practice or our daily routine of making moral judgment about political action. Okay, when we talk about political action, there has many I'm not sure either the right words to use many, but it's always surrounding by the judgmental, either is a good or positive. Okay, so that is we call it as a political ethic. The question is the extent to which the ethical principle that governs political office differ from those that govern moral life more generally. Okay, so this is like political morality in government actually different from the actually different from the morality what's the individual belief, but we have the common or mutual understanding because they have written law and regulation. Okay, and to what extent politicians allowed to take action that will otherwise be wrong? Ethic requires political leaders to avoid harming the innocent, but it may also obligate them to sacrifice innocent life for the good of the nation. Okay, and that's why we need law and regulation. Okay, because official act for us, they assume right and obligation that ordinary citizens do not have or do not have the same degree. Okay, many politicians, they will assume that they have a right and they have more authority compared than a layman people, a normal citizen. Okay, meaning the degree of authority is a different. They can do what they think is right. Okay, so that is a political ethic, but then it depends on the ethical practice. Okay, which is not do harm to others, not do harms to the people. Okay, and that is a political and morality. Okay, so in order to understand more, we refer to the situation of a democratic nation. It's a similar situation, Malaysian and Indonesian. Okay, so what is the meaning by the words democracy? Okay, democracy in a simple way, to make it simpler, is a government by the people to the people. Meaning we vote for our representative, and then we hope that our representative will deliver our right, will protect our right, kan, akan melindungi hak kita. Okay, so it's a form. What is a democracy actually? Okay, democracy is a form of government in which the people have the authority to choose their governing. We choose during election. Okay, and the decision on who is considered part of the people and how authority is shared amongst or delegates by the people have changed over time at a different speed in different country. Of course, we have different democracy implementation if compared third world country compared to the first world country. Okay, of course, we have a difference in terms of that. The difference because of the way people think. This is not I'm talking because this is just a simple reading that I want to share with you. Okay, normally democracy implementation is different because of the knowledge of the people in the country. We just simply assume that third world country, underdeveloped country, the level, the knowledge, the level of knowledge the people in the country is low compared than the people live in the developed country or first world country. That is show the different speak of the democracy. As an example, okay, certain country they are planning to implement e-voting, electronic voting. That is also because of the different characteristic of the people. It cannot just be easily to implement all the democracy, all the improvised democracy system. It must be depends on the people in the country. Okay? That is the meaning by the words different speaks in different country. Okay? But they have included more and more of the population of all country. As we can see nowadays, most people believe that democracy is a good system of the administration. It's a very long topic to discuss about this, right? Okay, so and we can we can just simply identify which country in the world now they are not implement the democracy. Okay. All right. So in Malaysia, we implement democracy, and same is quite similar with Indonesia implementation. Okay. So now what is the political philosophy for the democratic nation? Okay. So the underlying idea is to start from a plain budget of morals idea, the idea of the value of welfare. We, of course, democratic, like I say, not I say, is a general definition. Okay, governments by the people, to the people. Okay, so meaning that nation is a protect the philosophy or moral of the politician is to protect the value of the welfare to the people. Okay, which is what people generally desire, and the idea that one ought to try to bring about welfare as much as possible. So that is sure that the country, if they implement democratic, they are the moral, basic idea of moral is try to give the best for the people, is concerns for the people. Okay, the rest of moral and political theory is generally concerned with means and reasoning concerning how to bring about welfare to the best of the society. Okay. So in here, I'm sure you already know what is the ethical theory. Okay, that I think that most sweet with the democratic nation is utilitarian theory or principle, which is there are more, this theory are more concerns about the consequences, sebab akibat, okay, of any action are the only standard of right and wrong. Okay, meaning they are measuring the good or bad behavior based on the consequences. Like in Malaysian situation, okay, we, the politician or the federal government, the parliament, make a policy or make a decision based on the majority voices. Same goes to the Indonesian, okay? Meaning certain issue, even though the issue are concerning on the minority of the segment, society segment, it does not guarantee that the government will consider as a decision. The government will take action because one thing that we have to remember in democracy, even though it's a governed by the people to the people, but it will consider decision for the majority. That's why we have the issue of immoral in terms of the inclusiveness. People nowadays talking about the inclusiveness because democracy always depends on the majority. What is the majority needs? Okay, that's why there has an issue that has been talked much in terms of the public administration area, which is about the inclusiveness, penglibatan masyarakat. Yeah, because there is always an issue of the minority, there is always an issue of the vulnerable groups. Okay, so yeah, because of this utilitarian principle, it comes the words public inclusiveness, the discrimination, to what extent the people can have the services by the government. Okay. Actually, this utilitarian basic principle is about justification. Actions and practice should be considered justified to the extent and they promote the greatest overall happiness. Action and practice are said to have utility to the extent that they brings about overall happiness and disutility. Disutility here refer to the discrimination or inclusiveness of the public. So that's why if you have any question, you may interrupt, guys. Okay. So what I'm going to talk here is about that utilitarian utilitarian theory is more related with the moral practice or political philosophy for democratic nation. We are concerned about the consequences. Okay. Yeah, if you can see like a simple example. Okay. If you are breaking the speed limit on highway, if you drive too fast on highway, okay, you are breaking the speed limit and you cause an accident, it maybe cause a death or any serious injuries to the people. So that is what is the consequences. In Malaysian, we refer to the consequences. Okay, and that consequences, for example, you cause a death, you cause a serious injury to the people. So it has the rules and regulation to the punishment. Okay. All right. Okay. So rather than utilitarians, okay, meaning is focused on the consequences, utility to give the best to the people by examining the consequences, sebab dan akibat of the action. Okay. At the same time, they also focus on the rationality in order to be um to be moral, okay, to govern the people based on the morality principle, they need to implement rationality. Okay, that rationality is actually save the issue of inclusiveness in Malaysia. Meaning we want all the people receive the same. Okay. That's why some of the governments in Malaysia, they are subsidize the products based on the people's income, based on our net income. Okay, meaning they want to ensure the right people receive the right help or the right subsidized by the government. That is an example of how they pick rationality. Okay, meaning they think rational in terms of um, delivers their services to the people. Okay, like I say, is an example about to the person that receive the right subsidy by the government. Okay. So rationality is also implemented in decision making. Okay. So here there is an example of a rational decision making. Okay. To be moral, okay, rational choice theory assume that individuals have preferences among the available choice alternative that allow them to state which option they prefer. Okay, so this is supportive alternative. What should I say? No, this is an alternative, sorry, or alternative theory based on the democratic decision making, because democratic, as you all know, everything is depends on the majority voices. Okay, so how to protect those vulnerable, how to protect the inclusiveness segments. Okay, in Malaysia they implement rational theory, which is that our representative, our governors, our mayor, they are play role as a rational agent. Okay, they will collect all the available information. Okay, they will identify the cost and benefit. So that's why they are discuss the issue of the people in the parliament, okay, to identify which one is the best. So that is we can consider is actually protect the right of the vulnerable, protect the right of the inclusiveness of the people. At the same time, they will increase the public participation. Okay, so yeah, that is as I can say, is a alternative to support a democratic decision style. Okay, all right. So in the rational deliberation, also ambitions require that citizen can draw correct inference from government premises. Okay, more importantly, the ideological conception of democracy preserved. Okay, so that citizen can recognize and understanding the basic political fact from which their deliberation are to be gained. Okay, if citizens prove to be incapable of drawing correct inferences, or they have proved to be unable to understand the basic political fact from which such inferences are to be drawn, then they are unfit for democracy as folk epistemology conceive it. Okay, meaning this rational implementation, rational theory give a chance to the people to draw or to speak their discrimination, their isolation from the people. Okay, so that is like to to make it the democracy implementation look nice or look perfect to the implementation or to the people. That is a situation in Malaysia. Okay, all right. On the other hand, okay, this is I would like to show you how that morality, rationality are involved in decision making. Okay, so one of the most important dimension of organization is decision making, either in private or in public sector. The most important thing is decision making. Okay, decision making is actually about how decisions are made, by what standard, at what cost, and for whose benefit are question of continuing interest. Okay, meaning they will analyze based on the rational theory, they will analyze, they will gather the information. Okay, and this rationale actually give I might be repeat the same thing. Okay, it's a give opportunity to the people to voice up their insatisfaction of the government services. Okay, and this decision making is actually to satisfy the objective or meet the criteria of the decision goal. Okay, the whole process of managerial decision making is almost the same with the practice of management. Okay, decisions are affected by many other factors. Okay, like environmental factors. Okay, for example, like the issue that has been discussed in the court, the political issue, the stabilization of economy, okay, society issue, and then the value of people involved in decision making process. Okay, so that if you want to ensure that this decision making is moral and protects the political philosophy, need to be implement the rational decision making. Okay, so this is an example in Malaysian local government, how they implement rationality, how they implement how they implement rationality in the decision making, local government. Okay, so in Malaysia we have the the Malaysian Local Government Act 1976. Of course, they have been improvised, okay, to be suited with the current situation. Okay, so this act actually provide for decision to be made at council meeting. Okay, and for example, they have to be attending by at least one half or the full member of councillor, meaning our representative. Okay, that representative is we choose during election. Okay, that chaired by the mayor or president and the full numbers of councillor for special meeting and 1/3 for ordinary committee meeting. Okay, they will hold a meeting once a week, usually in Wednesday. Okay, they will discuss about the local government issue, the local issue. Okay, so that is the good of the rationality implementation in the decision making. Okay, so the councillor will perceive the decision making, yes, it's a complex process. Okay, by referring to the second and third level of formal sequence of step in the decision making process. Okay, so usually one of the issue that they will influence their decision is about the interest of the public or taxpayer. Okay, as you know, okay, you are the political science student, the public administration students. Okay, the government actually conduct or doing their business is uh, from the money of the taxpayer, right? We pay the tax to the government, and that money is government will use and give that to the people. Okay, so one of the issue to concern in the local government is about the interest of the public or the taxpayer. Which one they are needs to protect? Okay, of course, they always have to consider about the elite. They will always have to consider about the taxpayer, especially elite person in nation. Even though they are minority, but to be true is the government is actually protect them because the they have they give a lot to the government in terms of the tax. Okay, they pay a lot to the government. So at the same time, when the local government is actually try to protect the interest of the public and try to balance the interest of a taxpayer. Okay? That is one of the critical issue, complex process that they need to be discussed. And also the interest of a state government. Okay. For example, I give you an example. They have an issue in the local government, in Penang, Malaysian, okay, which is about the strata issue. Strata issue is when you live in a condominium, in the high rise, okay. So they have an issue about strata. Okay, that strata is difference. Is a fully residential or is a service apartment, or they have an issue. Okay, so the state government would like to increase the volume of tourism in Penang. Okay, so they come up with an idea of to support the Airbnb, to support the homestay. That is to support that kind of accommodation. So they have a dispute or argumentation in between of the people, the public and the taxpayer in terms of the strata title. Either they want to do it a fully residential or they want to do it a service apartment. Service apartment is like they are support the Airbnb. You know, it's like an hotel. It gives accommodation to the people, but much cheaper compared if you stay in hotel. So that is an issue in finance nowadays. Okay, that an issue in a local government. Okay, so which one they are trying to imbalance between of the taxpayer and as the public interest. Okay, of course, as a public interest, when we buy house under the strata title, we actually need to be as a fully residential package. We are not like to share or to be shared with the local government to do any hotel business or any Airbnb business. That is an issue in a finance local government. Okay. So there is a still ongoing process. Okay. One of the issue that I can share with you the situation. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Alright. So in terms of the public service, okay, so I share you with the link. There is a public service commission in Malaysia. In here we have the code of conduct ataupun we call it as a tingkah laku or behavior. They have a punishment, they have a reward. Meaning if you go to this website, it's stated clearly about the regulation, responsibility and punishment for the public service. Okay. So in order to make a decision on this factor, on this issue, okay, like I talked just now, it must be depends on this regulation, responsibility and punishment. Meaning this is one of to ensure that councillor, that mayor are actually obey with the code of conduct to ensure the morality of a public service. So this responsibility of the civil service is actually to create an environment of conducive and rapid economic growth. Okay, this expectation will not be realized if the sector frequently has to confront common organizational issues such as low employee motivation, lower productivity, increased legal costs, relational strain in the workplace, and also a claim that related with the medical. Okay. So in contrast, conflict which are managed well can create a workplace conducive to trusting and respectful relationship amongst its employee. Okay. So if you go to this link that I given, okay, you can see it's about the responsibility or the regulation. Okay. However, they have an issue and they have a conflict. For example, low employee motivation, lower productivity. Okay. But if everything will be controlled based on this code of conduct. And we have many cases that been discussed in the courts nowadays that involve the moralities, immoral attitude of a public service. Especially the issue that we have discussed last week about the corruption and the bribery. Okay. So all these things, law and regulation, we have the codes of conduct, okay, everything to protect, to ensure that public servants in Malaysia are behave in a good moral, okay. So we have the court, the same situation in Indonesia or any other country, okay. But in Malaysia, this is just to show you, to share with you that Malaysia court system. Okay, the lowest we have the magistrate, we have the sections court, we have the high court, okay, and we have the appeal court, and we also have the highest is a federal court. Okay, I'm sure everyone's know. Okay, that level is a difference based on the level of the supremacy, the level of the authority. Okay, this is just an to share with you. Okay, so how this judiciary is actually, this judiciary independent. In terms of the separation of power, they are the independence body. They are not like legislative and executive in nature, whereas they are the same person hold legislative and they are the same person as the executive. Okay. So I think that is just an overview, just sharing with you the implementation of the how to ensure the morality in the governmental of Malaysia. Okay, first the IT, this is to rapat okay, that they need to implement utilitarian, which is focused on the consequences, and at the same time, Malaysia as a democratic nation, they of course they make decision based on the majority, but to be safe the issue and challenge of the inclusiveness, they implement rationality. I show you an example of the local government, how they make a decision. Okay, and then to protect or to ensure the public service actually implements the good behavior, they come up with the code of conduct or code tingkah laku, okay, that will talk about the responsibility and the punishment if the public service disobey with the law and regulation. Even though it's clearly stated the punishment, do's and don't, but we still, in Malaysia, still have many malpractice issue, okay? And it's involved the huge number of a public service, okay? So this is an example of a court system, judiciary, just to show you how they ensure the morality of checks and balance, which is this judiciary system is independent, not overlapping, and they exercise their roles without interfere from the government. Okay, so as a conclusion, this is some that I got from Google. Okay, yeah, maybe I need to read it. Okay, it's alleged by man of loose principle. Principle is like what we believe or defective view of the subject. That religions and morality are not necessary or important qualification for political station. When a citizen gives his vote to a man of immorality, he abuses his civic responsibility. He sacrifices not only his own interest, but that of his neighbor, and he betrayed the interest of his country. Okay, so that's why in Malaysia, when you win the election, okay, when you want to become a representative of the people, you need to sign or you need to be sworn in to be sworn by the supremacy, by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong of Malaysia. So they even though they have that thing, but there's still many issue of immoral. Okay. So I think that's all that I will try to sharing with you how that morality govern the governments in Malaysia, and that we as a people, we understand that rules and regulation. Yeah. That's the theme, Dr. Mega. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ajrun. We got many new things for this issue, and also about Malaysia, information about Malaysia. And I think our student will can be compare that with the Indonesians. Is there any questions? Hello, is there any questions? Or maybe Dr. Ajrun, you also can give a certain questions to students.
Yeah, actually, I don't have a question. Okay. I don't have a question for a student, but I just want to hear their opinion
Right.
based on what I'm sharing. If that you guys understand or you guys able to relate or not. Because we actually similar. Our administrative, our government system are actually quite similar. So, based on what I'm sharing, not confident teaching. Dr. Mega will teach you much better than me. Okay. So maybe I would like to hear your opinions, or either you understand or either you are able to relate what I'm sharing. Yeah.
Okay, how is it, students? Usually, Nabila.
Where actually they are, okay, yeah.
Is Dr. Ajrun, you want to say something? Dr. Ajrun, you want to say something to them?
Yeah, okay. No. I'm just awaiting
Okay.
actually. I'm just
Nabila, halo Nabila. Nabila Saputri. Halo Nabila. Nabila Saputri, where are you? Tegar, do you have a questions? How is it? You understand about these themes, or you have a questions, or you need more information in detail, for example, in a certain issue, in a certain slide, for example, maybe because of it's too fast, then you cannot really catch up in a certain slide, for example. How is it? You can also chat if you cannot turn on your speakers, okay?
where the student at? They are located in their home, right, Dr. Mega?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Aditya?
Gimana, Miss?
Yes. Do you have a question? Is it clear for you, or what is it? How is it? How is it?
Maybe no, sir. Miss.
No question, or you really understand all of the
No
lecturing?
question.
No questions. Okay. I hope it's clear. Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it
it's
because
really
of
nice
you?
to see your face.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Fadila, you have a question, Fadila?
I just wanna say something actually. So, Miss Ajrun said that there are a council, not a council, like lembaga, a council that overseeing the public services in Malaysia, right? Before the slide before this, I guess, or two before this. Can you
Okay.
update me?
Yeah.
12 slide.
What is the question?
It's not the question. So yeah, it's the question actually. So in Indonesia we have ombudsman, the council or like the lembaga that mengawasi jalannya public services in Indonesia. So is there any like that council too in Malaysia?
Ombudsman.
Oh, okay. That's ombudsman. Okay, we in Malaysian okay. After the previous government, which is Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib. Okay. So and then starting from that, it will re-elected to Dr. Mahathir. They have an idea to do ombudsman, which is to represent the right of the peoples more, compare than public complaint bureau. Okay, but we have that public complaint until now. Okay, but the issue is it's stated under the Prime Minister Department, meaning they have no checks and balance. That is the real issue I want to share with you. Okay, so you can see, right, when we complain and it that department is actually stated under the Prime Minister department, Prime Minister control. So to what extent of the transparency? We can see about the issue of the transparency. Okay. So because of that issue, that Tun M, okay, Tun Mahathir, they actually come up with the ombudsman. Okay. When he's re-elected, okay, they come up an idea with the ombudsman just to make it what should I say to complete the public complaint, okay, but that is still ongoing. That is still ongoing. That is still ongoing issue to be discussed. Ombudsman, we have an idea about that. But the implementation is still ongoing, discussed in the parliament. Meaning nowadays, if you have a complaint, okay, we go to the public complaint that is still stated under the Department of Prime Minister Control, and then we have the tribunal. We can go to that. That tribunal is like commission. They will protect the right. We have the consumers tribunal. Yeah. Okay.
So let's say I found like maladministration in the like government system. So I have to report it to that department in Malaysia. Is that true?
Yeah. If you have any complaints of the services, that is one of the formal way. But nowadays in Malaysia, every department they have a complaint section. They have any, meaning you can have your, it's like in a more moral way to say, it's not complaint, it's like if you like to further inquiries, they use the words inquiries, meaning pertanyaan, and then you can write an email to them. But that's why Tun M would like to come up with the ombudsman, because so many complaints, they have a redundant issue, they have many cases that not be resolved, unresolved cases. So that's why they come up with an idea. But then idea is still being discussed in Malaysia. It's still being discussed. Yeah.
Okay, so it's under like the Prime Minister, right? Okay.
Is it clear, Fadila?
Yeah, I can hear you. You say something?
Is that clear, Fadila? Is that clear? Hello? Dr. Ajrun, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Is there any other questions from the student? Yes, actually, you also can give a question after the class, actually, yeah? You can share the question, or you want certain information, for examples, then you share in our groups, and then I can send to Dr. Ajrun, okay?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Before that, I think as usual, I give you like an assignment, and the assignment is not really, it's not quite difficult, and it's just inner generals. This is just to make sure that what Dr. Ajrun's lecturing for today, you got the issue, and you got what is the main issue here. So I think I will share the screen share.
I need to stop share, right?
Yes. So you have to stop share, and I will share the. Okay. Okay. So can you see my screen now, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Nabil. So I ask you to make it like comparisons. The main issue of morality in Indonesian and Malaysia government, and then you choose one case in certain issue in certain department. Maybe, for example, in the Department of religions. Is there a religious department in Malaysia? I don't think so. Dr. Ajrun?
What department? Sorry.
Mora, Ministry of Religious Affairs, for example, departments.
Sorry.
The
I can get you. Sorry.
The Ministry of Religious Affairs.
Yeah, we have that. We
Yes.
have that. Yeah.
So, for example, you choose that department, then you choose certain issue. For example, the issue of religious minority. For example, there is a regulations or certain regulations on that issue on religious minority. Then you can compare between Indonesia and Malaysia in terms of morality. What is the behind that regulation? Or you can also choose public service. Yeah, in a public service issue, then take it certain issue, and then you look at what is the values or the moral issue behind that regulation, behind that decision making, for example. So maybe only 3 or 5, just like generals comparisons of that. Is there any question for the assignment?
It's clear.
So
Is
we
it
have,
clear?
think
so we choose like the department by ourselves, right, ma'am?
Yes. And then inside the departments, you choose one certain issue, because departments is very huge, right? And then they deal with some issues. Then choose a certain issue in a certain department, and then make it comparisons in terms of the issue of morality. Okay, maybe it's about responsibility, about that you think this is the issue of morality. The issue of morality that is presented by Dr. Ajrun, previous lecturing, right? This lecturing. Okay, so there is a, for example, in your utilitarianity theory or the rationality theory, you can see that. Or maybe just take it certain morality issue and then put it there. Okay, is it clear? You try it, and then I try to look at whether you really understand about the issue of morality in the government. Okay, if not really clear for you, just put it what you understand about this, and then we discuss it later. Okay, and if in Malaysia we can take it more to Dr. Ajrun whether this is true or not. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
This is to make it sure that student really understand Dr. Ajrun with
Yes.
the lecturings. Okay, so maybe later we need your help to look at what the students see from the Malaysia issue of morality in certain.
Okay. Ya, boleh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajrun. Because sometimes when the lecturings occurs, then the student not really can catch up the lecturings, but then later they read it more because of the assignments, right?
Yes.
Your PowerPoints, and then they put it in the assignments, and then we know whether they all really understand or not. So to make sure this.
Yes.
But I think
I agree.
I think students really get more information and new knowledge about this. Thank you very much, Dr. Ajrun.
Thank you very much. My pleasure, Dr. Mega. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Fortunately,
Yeah,
this is the last
until we meet,
meeting.
at USM. Please come to USM.
Yes, you do. Come here after the corona and after maybe the conducive situations.
Yeah, we are not sure of this pandemic, right?
Yeah. But at least we can meet online right now.
Yeah.
To
That
start.
is the opportunity. That
Relation.
is the globalization
Yes.
impact.
So thank you for today. So we can close the meetings today, Dr. Ajrun.
Okay, yeah, sure. All right.
We close our class by saying Hamdalah.
Alhamdulillahirabbil
Alhamdulillahirabbil
alamin.
Thank
You
you so
can
much.
Thank you so
the voice,
much.
Dr. Ajrun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am
Thank
Mega.
you,
Thank you,
Dr.
Miss Ajrun.
Ajrun. I love
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Have a nice day.
I don't know how to do it.
Have a nice day.
Thank you
Okay,
very much,
yeah.
Dr.
Have a nice
Ajrun.
day. Take care.
Yeah, stay
Healthy.
healthy.
Terima kasih Ibu Mega. Thank you
Sama-sama.
everyone.
Terima kasih Mbak Nurai.
I just can hear it.
Wanna say thank you to Mbak.
Oh, Mbak.
Yeah, Mbak, it's my sister, right?
Ah, yeah. I
Sister.
think I'm not sister. I think I'm makcik. Oh, auntie.
No, you're still very young to say.
No, Mbak is too young for me. Aditya, Mbak is
I think they can say you Mbak because you're still young.
no. I'm 36 actually.
I'm sorry Mbak, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't
Aditya
mind.
suka melawak, Mbak.
Ah,
Yeah.
enggak apa-apa. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Bye. Nice to meet you.